on the show. Are we live? Yes, we are streaming live. No entrance,
What's
no
up?
nothing. I
What's
like it.
up?
I like it.
How you how you doing, pal?
I am chilling like Matt Dillon.
Oh, when I used to work in jail, they'd say, "What's up?" and I'd say, "I'm chilling, babysitting villains,
Babysitting villains. We used to say chilling like a
babysitting
villain
villains."
back in the day. Back in the
Back in the
day.
day, we'll have to
So,
we'll have to go deep on that one of these days.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do you got for us today, Max?
Well, I always look at kind of interesting stuff, and it's kind of wacky. And so imagine it's a Saturday morning. You're just chilling in the house watching TV, right? You're
How
just chilling
age?
in the house watching
Age?
TV,
About how old?
right? Right now, it's like Saturday
Okay.
morning, so we're right now, you know. So Pumpkin Girl comes and she's in doing yoga, right?
Of
Pumpkin
course.
Girl's doing yoga, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door, and you say, "Well, who is it?" And you happen to look outside, and
Hey,
there's a
Pumpkin
friggin'
Girl.
balloon with 13 people landed in your backyard.
Oh, snap.
Now I said to myself, why would we be doing that? Well, apparently, hi Sherry. Apparently, there was a problem, and this balloon full of 13 people landed in backyard of these folks that live down south in Temecula,
Okay, I know where that's at.
and I can't imagine how that was, but apparently it was an emergency landing. And I'm trying to work my stuff over up in here. It was an emergency landing. They had low fuel and a shift in the winds. And at first, this person said, "Oh my God, we're in a backyard." And I can't imagine. First of all, have you ever been in a hot air balloon?
I have not. I have not.
It's kind of something that I have to talk Mud Lover into, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be
I
hard
don't
to
know,
talk Mud
man.
Lover in
I don't
because
know.
she.
You can't steer those things, can you?
Well, apparently the way they're steered is you're right. They kind of are at the yeah, it was definitely Sherry. Um, the way they manipulate it is with that fire, so they can either blow it up, and once they put that fire into it, it expands the balloon and lifts it up, or they can let the air out of it as well. But
Oh,
you're
so they
right;
got
they're
the up
pretty
and
much
down part.
yeah. But you're pretty much at whichever the way the wind's blowing.
Ah,
So yeah, I think that'd be kind of interesting. You're just chilling, hanging out. Someone knocks on your door, and there's a balloon in your backyard.
yeah, that would be cool. I mean, especially for the 13 people on board. I mean,
Right.
there's high lines everywhere,
Mm-hmm. Oh
trees
heck yeah.
everywhere.
Well,
Uh,
you got to remember if they are down in Temecula, a little bit bigger yards.
yeah, yeah,
So I can imagine that, and if it's a nicer area, so they probably have a lot of their stuff underground. Their utilities are underground. But
right.
you're right with the trees because they want the trees. But I thought, how cool would that be? What are the chances, right, of somebody coming to your place and going, "Hey, dude, there's a friggin' balloon in your backyard"? Because you're like me, you're thinking a Mylar balloon, a happy
Right.
birthday balloon, whatever. No, no.
Wow. Wow. That
People.
that would
So I
awesome.
was kind
That
of
would be
curious.
awesome. I mean, it would be a nice surprise. It would be awesome to find. It would be a story that you could tell
Oh
forever,
yeah.
forever.
That's the bar story. That's the barbecue story.
Yep, yep, yep. You
That's
can't. Yeah, you can't buy good stories like that, man.
oh heck no, heck no, and it cracks me up because we both know that area,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where you're like, you know what, I could see that happening, but that would be cool. But yeah, one of these days I'm probably gonna have to knock Mud Lover out and get her
Yeah,
on one of those
yeah,
balloons.
I think so. I don't know, man. I know that when Pumpkin Girl and we went over to the Boise Balloon Festival. I think it was 2 years back. Correct me if I'm
Mhm.
wrong, or 3 years back. But they have some beautiful balloons going up and coming down. And there's a freeway right near, and I seen a lot of them go straight up and straight down. But there was a few that caught,
Yeah,
they caught a wind, and yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if I'm brave
yeah,
enough to trust the up and down process without a little side by side.
yeah. I feel you. Yeah, but you know what? That story. Can you imagine telling that story? Oh yeah, you jumped the car. Check this out. I landed a balloon in the backyard of the house in Temecula,
Yeah.
and that's going to go forever and
Oh
ever,
yeah.
and that's just kind of cool stuff. I think that kind of cool stuff
That is
is
absolutely,
worth
yeah.
talking about.
Now check this out. If they could get a balloon in the desert, I would sign up for that. I would. In the desert. I don't know about in the cities though, man.
Yeah.
That's asking for trouble. To me, I don't know. To me.
Well, and that depends on where this is. Because Riverside, Temecula, that whole area is
Yeah, it's kind of
desert,
rural. Yeah.
you know. But you got to remember too, if you land in the wrong spot in the desert, then we're going to have a whole different problem, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah.
That
That
would
is.
be kind of chill, And like I said, one of these days, I think I'd have to knock Mud Lover out to get her on board.
I'd like to see that. I
Yeah,
would.
she just,
and,
um, kind
and
of
I
says,
don't
"Oh,
mean
yeah,
I don't mean that I would like to see Mud Lover knocked out. I would like to see you try to knock her out. That's all I'm saying. I would have money on that. And I love you to death, Max, but I don't think my money would be on you, brother.
I know when to say when. I know exactly. I know how far I can poke the bear. I know. Look. There's not a lot of things I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of Mud Lover. It's just a healthy respect.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's right. No, and it's the same way. I'm not afraid of Sherry. I'm not. I'm not. She can run faster than I. She could catch me. It's just a really, really healthy respect, like you said, man. Because, boy, yeah.
Well, what's funny is back home, it's not like here. So back home, we had to go find places to go shooting. And so the way Mud Lover and I met is we played softball together, and I I wanted to be on her softball team. We'll just put it out because she would say the whole thing. So I wanted to be. There we go. Thank you. Um, so uh, I knew the person that was running her team, so I was able to get on her softball team. But anyway, long story short, we decided to go shooting. And I'm like, she's like, yeah, I'm not much of a shot. And I'm like, yeah, dude, no. She's one of those sandbaggers. If she says I'm not good at something, yeah, BS. There's
Yeah.
certain things that I will not play her in basketball. I would definitely not going to play pool
Oh, yeah. I learned my,
because
yeah. I got
yeah,
another story after you're done, brother, but go ahead.
no. So she bought. What did I have? I had a 22, I had a 9, and a shotgun. She shot the shotgun one time and she didn't like it. So she takes this 9 millimeter out and we're just planking nothing, cans or whatever. And every shot, dink, dink, dink. And I knew then, well, I knew before then that I love this woman, but I knew that I would never run away from her while she's got a gun. Because serpentine will not work.
When Sherry and I were dating, I wanted to take her out and show her how to play pool. And we went out to this pool hall up in Bakersfield. And yeah, she She's a shark, brother, and there is no way around it. She's bouncing the ball over another one to knock a ball in, and I'm like, really? All you needed to do? Hey, what's up, Susan?
What's up, Susie?
Yeah. If she started betting me money, it wouldn't have surprised me. But that ain't the worst of it. After that, I took her bowling. I'm like, yeah, I got this. I got the big heavy ball and whatnot. Oh no, yeah, no, yeah. Sherry went over there and she's getting strikes, and I thought, okay, well, I was in the military. I've got range practice. I also went to range every 3 months. I'm an excellent shot, and I'm going to take her out there, and I'm just going to show her how this is done. And we set up the SKS, and we're, I don't know, 100 yards, 200 yards, and all you hear is ding, 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 and she looks at me and she goes, what does it mean when it keeps going ting? And it just, I'm like, you want to know what that means? That means I ain't showing you anything no more, because yeah, it's not working, man.
They're sandbaggers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I don't know, man. And there's I don't know. One day I'll be able to teach her how to do something, but so far it's not anything sporty like or.
But yeah, and like I said, we've been bowling a couple times, and yeah, no, I'll just watch.
Yeah.
And she, we'll get together with some friends, and we'll throw cornhole, and she friggin' will just drain them. The first couple times she'll miss it, and then when she's friggin' on point,
it's
freaking right there, and just draining them like it's cool.
They really know how to humble us, don't they?
It just see, you know what they did is they played that little girl thing, and then all of a sudden it was like,
yep, that was exactly it. Yep, and then here we go.
That's it. I'm not even gonna fight.
Oh man.
So, we were going to talk about the 80s a little bit this evening, and you had brought something up that was more police. Yeah, whatever, my lover. You were going to bring something up that was kind of pariah, maybe?
What was I going to bring up? Was it?
We were going to talk about smoking.
Oh, smoking in the 80s. I don't.
Yeah.
Did your high school have a smoking section?
It did.
It did.
It did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And yeah, and what's really weird is I don't understand how we've gone to. I've got ashtrays from McDonald's. They have the golden arches inside the ashtray. And this isn't a gag. This isn't anything. I actually remember taking them from McDonald's when we were kids. People inside the restaurant smoking. Yep. Do you remember them smoking in the hospitals?
I do. I remember and see all these. Yeah, I did. Yeah, nobody had smoking. The smoking section was just the other side of the room. I remember flying. My first flight was from LAX to Tahoe. My sister lived in Tahoe, so my mom wanted to fly, and I don't know how we got that kind of money. But they were smoking in the airplane.
Yes.
And I thought, are you, that? But that's the way it was. I mean, you came in our house, and there was just a layer of smoke in that, and that's just the way it was.
Yeah. I remember Grandma's house. We were playing inside the house, and this was right before we got knocked out with chanclas. But one of the balls hit a picture off the wall, and lo and behold, all the way around the wall, it was like tobacco, like stains.
Oh, yeah.
And that's from them smoking.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Silent Storm. I remember Price Club. Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting,
Price
Silent
Club.
Storm. And Jimco. Jimco was a cool store. Oh, Price Club. You know where Price Club is?
I do not.
Price Club is now Costco.
Oh, you kidding?
When it first broke out, it was Price Club, and we were having this conversation with the other day, and I'm not sure who Silent Storm is, but I think I have an
But
idea.
obviously they know who you are.
So, but anyway, um, the jail that I worked in, my first jail that I worked in, was built in, I want to say, early 1950s is actually when they started building the jail. But prior to that, it was a farm, and we'd bring trustees up every day, and this was way before my time, believe it or not.
Right.
So, anyway, a mud lover. I think Jimco might just have been a regional thing. I don't know about all the other places, but anyhow, um, before in 19, and again, this was before I came on board, but in 1980, I want to say 89, 90. Excuse me, they were going to put in a heater air conditioning unit into the wings.
Oh wow.
So that means that they were going to go back through, and our jail, the downstairs was built like a wagon wheel, right? So you could see the wings,
Okay, yeah.
and we were in
Yeah.
the middle. We were the hub, the
Yeah.
hub. And so they had to get up there and clean the roof. And it took them like 5 or 6 days, the story I was told. And all they got off of there was nicotine. The water was just because back then you could smoke in jail, you know?
Back in the 90s, I remember working in Avenal Prison in California, and they used to, for people who are indigent, give you a bag of tobacco.
Really?
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that. They were still giving bags of tobacco and rolling paper. Um,
That's funny.
yeah, yeah, it was. This was, yeah, that's what. Again, this was CDC. It wasn't the new rehabilitation one. This is back in the day.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what? And nowadays, we used to catch inmates, and I again, I didn't smoke enough to make a difference. I never, I smoked a cigar every once in a while. The first time I ever smoked a pipe, I was like 8, and I bet my dad and my older brothers that I could smoke a pipe. So what do these guys do? They go get some tobacco and pack that thing up, and they lit it, and the instant heat went into my mouth and the smoke, and I'm like 10, and I vomited all over. And they thought that was the best thing in the world. And then, oh my gosh. So yeah, like I said, I've smoked a cigar, but I probably haven't smoked a cigar for 20 years. So
Yeah, yeah, no,
yeah,
that's back when if they caught you smoking, they make you smoke a pack.
oh my,
And
that's what
yeah,
that's what my sister and brother-in-law did to my nieces. They caught all 3 of my nieces smoking, and of course, they both smoked. And my middle niece, man, they're like, "Okay, go for it." And my middle niece just went for it, just smoked that, and they're like, "Oh my God, she's not getting sick." Yeah, no, she powered through it, and I guess they all smoked today. I don't know,
yeah, they tried
but
that with
yeah,
me, but yeah, they tried that with me, and I don't condone this to anybody who's listening, of course, but I remember taking menthol cigarettes out of my mom's, pack before heading to, and I don't want to say kindergarten because it was kindergarten, but yeah, we were just walking to school smoking cigarettes. Different times, though. Okay, different times, way different times.
you ever heard of CPS?
They didn't have that
Sitting
back
out in the
then.
college.
No, they didn't have that back then. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, those were.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny is I don't know how many miles my mom drove. She'd be smoking, and she had the window down that much because
Right.
in her head, All the smoke's going out that window. Now, God
Oh, yeah.
forbid anybody else want to roll a window down. She would just lose her mind. So yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Um,
We used to get smoked out on a regular because it was normal for, the adults to be smoking in the car with all the kids in the
Exactly.
back.
Yep. And that's just the way it was. That's how we
Yeah.
grew up. It's funny that you say it like that because um, when my dad smoked, I remember watching the commercials with with the dancing cigarette packets
Oh,
on
yeah.
TV,
Yeah.
and that's how far back that goes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he quit smoking, and then he went to those little um, cigar. I don't know what those are.
What are
And
they,
then he went to
cigarillos or
yeah, there you go.
cigarillos or something like that?
Yeah. And then he went to Luden's cough drops because it was a muscle memory thing for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had to have something in that. And he was a guy that wore a T-shirt and a button-down shirt. It was a work shirt or whatever. That was his dress. That was his uniform. And then after a while, he quit the Luden's cough drops, and then it was root beer barrel. Someone, and he
Okay.
had me at root beer barrel. I still love root beer barrels. But yeah, that's just the way it was, man. And you go to somebody's house, or they'd say, "We're going to make something for your parents. It's a pottery day." What did I make? I made a friggin' cigarette. I made an
We made
ashtray.
ashtrays. That was common. That was I remember so proud of mine. I brought it and it had my mom's initial in it with a big old M for all her cigarettes. Here you go, Mom.
Yeah, you were a big man. Yeah,
Oh man, that is something else. Jeez.
sweet. You just got some root beer.
Oh yeah, I've got root beer barrels right there in the kitchen.
There you go. That's cool. That's cool.
Hey, Arista.
Hello.
Yeah,
So yeah,
those-
what's funny is you were talking about high school. That was where it was. It was they're in the smoking area.
oh yeah, oh yeah. It was different. And don't forget the gun racks in the back of the trucks.
All day.
That was
All
that was
day.
yeah. That was just common. That was a common thing.
Exactly. Well, like I said, I carried a buck knife. Chico sticks. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. You used to call them
Oh
chicken
yeah,
leg.
the chicken
You used to call them
sticks.
chicken legs. Yeah, the chicken sticks. Um, I'll tell you a story. So my folks were older and my dad retired and he needed something to do. He was that guy, he needed to stay busy. So I went with him one day and went and recycled and he got like however much, right? And he gave me like $5. Are you kidding me? $5?
Wow.
So I had my mindset the next time we go to Montgomery Ward's, I'm going to go to the candy counter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how big a friggin' bag of candy corn is?
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I got like $5 worth of friggin' candy. To this day, I can't look at candy corn. I can't. No, I ate that whole bag. It made
Oh
me
shoot.
sick.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't do it. Can't do it. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
That's hilarious.
And what's funny is I remember my mom. So all my older brothers and sisters smoked. That was just the way it was back then. And when my older sister lived in Tahoe, my mom would have to go out and would smoke outside, and it's snowing. And my mom's out there freezing to death. And I thought, man, what kind of a monkey do you have to have on your back
To go
to have
outside.
to go outside when it's snowing and it's 12 degrees and your monkey butt is out there friggin' smoking because you got to do that?
Yeah. But this is yeah. I'm telling you, that's something
Oh
else.
my gosh.
I've got a question for you, Max, and maybe you do have a memory of this. I'm not too sure, but Do you remember ever getting a haircut in a barber shop as a child?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we would get what my dad would call a big boy haircut.
Uh huh.
Now, my dad had part on the side, comb.
Okay.
He had full head of hair, but that was his thing. He parted on the side and comb. And I remember the barber sitting in that chair. My dad's sitting in the chair, and they would shave him. And then the barber would get these little tiny scissors and cut the hair out of his nose. But it was like the full thing, man. It was like the hot shave.
Yeah.
And Mr. I can't remember what his name was. But yeah, I had the seat that I had to put up on top, the little bench thing. Yeah, dude, that was the best.
We had it was Ed the barber. He had been our barber in our town 40 years at least. And I remember he had a little red fire engine truck inside his shop next to the big seat. And all the kids who got their first haircuts would sit in that fire engine and get shaved up or cut up or, trimmed up. The McFarland Press was right next door. And anybody who had their first haircut, McFarland Press would come over and take your picture and put it in the newspaper. And yeah, I remember it was me and I believe it was David Fuentes who got our haircuts at the same time. I still got that picture at my mom's house of both of us getting our haircut.
Wasn't that the best thing to see your picture or see your name in your local newspaper for good things?
Oh yeah. Back then we were heroes, man. I mean, if you see your name in the paper, jeez, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. And they always had. So I played Little League baseball forever, and every time, man, I would look and see, oh my, yep, there I was. They'd even have an action shot, right? Or your name was, oh my God, it was the best. That was the best stuff. Then you go to school the next day and everyone's like, yeah, I saw your name. Not mine because I wasn't a cool kid then. I am now, but I wasn't then.
I remember getting that one haircut, but we were poor kids. Other than that, I don't remember ever getting my haircut in the barbershop very much after that. Normally, it was the big scissors in the kitchen. Mom would break those out and use those on all the boys. I mean, there was 5 boys in the house, so yeah, it was kind of pricey, I guess, to cut all our hairs at the barbershop. But I remember going to school with a bunch of kids with the with the homemade haircuts, and oh boy, have you looked through old yearbooks from way back when?
Some great pictures of haircuts back in the day, and we're talking back in the day.
Oh yeah,
are you? Oh yeah.
Me? Oh man, I look at my kids right now. They take their son, and he gets a better haircut than I ever got, ever. And this is throughout my lifetime. They're all faded up and lined up, and they look to the T. And yeah, me and my friends, we went over. We'd go to school with if we moved our head to the side, that's how our hair was for the next 2 months, and it was that happy down.
You think right then it's like we used to be paper because of FF. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Girl Scouts, high school track.
Whatever.
She was a letter girl.
Yeah, when I got into high school, I was in the paper not because I ran track. But that was the best. That was the best stuff, man. And you know what's funny is I don't think, like we talked about. Yeah, right. Um,
Dingleberry scissors.
huh. Oh, yeah,
Hairball.
hairball. Oh, yeah. Good clarification there. But you know what's funny is I think that decade after decade, for a while, there were problems, but they weren't the same problems. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
growing up, it was like, okay, yeah, we always, like I said, mom always had uh uh, uh grew vegetables in the backyard. That's just the way it was.
yeah.
We and that was it. That was it. Certain things that we did. But I'll tell you what, and I don't know if you ever encountered this, but psychological torture, and you go out and pick your own switch
Oh yeah.
off the peach
Oh yeah.
tree.
Oh yeah.
I would always try and find one that would break first. My sister, man, she's out there finding the best. I go, we're gonna get whipped with this. I
I
know.
know. I know. If I brought a switch that was too small, she was going to go get the whole tree.
Oh,
So
heck yeah.
it was a fine line to pick the right one that would break, one that maybe had cracks in it. But yeah, there was. Yeah, I heard there were plenty of times walking back to the house from the tree.
You already know. It's like I'm gonna get the one that, okay, that is hopefully not gonna hurt that much. My sister was gonna get the one that was like a one of those sword dudes, and she was all, and I was just like, man. But my mom would get so pissed off that she would go after us with Hot Wheels tracks.
Oh
Now,
yeah,
you've never had a whipping until you've had that. Now, I've had the spoon, right? I've had the belt. I've had the
right.
shoe. I've had my dad's belt. But I'll tell you what, man, that Hot Wheels track. And I made the mistake one time. We went to a yard sale, and I saw all these Hot Wheels tracks. And I'm like, man, you know what? Because I collect Hot Wheels and Matchbox, Yeah, you know what? And then I thought to myself, no, sir. No, sir. And my mom says, you want to buy those? And I said, no.
Yeah, you had
No.
PTSD.
Nope. No. And yeah. It
Oh,
was
that's
just the way
good
it was. But
stuff.
once we got into like 80s, where we were I was kind of a little bit more of an adult. There was a show that came on let's see, on August 1st, 1981. What show jumped off?
That is a good question. I'm going to cheat.
I can
August
tell you, you don't have to
1st.
cheat.
Why don't you tell me?
MTV.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
everything came out behind that, but MTV was jumped off on August 1st, 1981. And the very first video was
The video.
Video Killed the Radio Star
Oh yeah.
by the Buggles. Remember that song?
I do. I do. And
That was the best. It was the
I
best.
remember when MTV all they did was play music.
That was it. And they
Yeah.
had the space shuttle landing there, and they had the friggin' the guy out there, the astronaut out there cruising around,
Watching the flag with the MTV on it. Yeah.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, Arista gave me a little model of the MTV thing with the flag on there.
Cool.
Shout out to Arista. Got it in my office.
Oh, how cool is that? Shout out to her. But so let's go a little bit farther. And remember, if anybody in the comments or the audience right now can remember that, that's where they first came out with videos to songs.
Oh yeah.
And that was, like I said, you either showed the band on stage doing their thing, or they showed some sort of video. And what was the first? I take that back. The biggest video that ever dropped on MTV.
I'm gonna have to say Michael Jackson, and this is off the top of
Yes,
my head. Thriller.
it was a movie. It was movie grade, and I remember we're at my buddy's house, and it was going to come on, say Friday night at 7. You have to watch. And man, they just. I don't even know how many people watched it, but it wasn't just a 3-minute video, dude. It was like 25 minutes long.
Yeah, with Vincent
And
Price
it was so awesome.
yeah.
And it was.
Those were the days, man. That was it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I mean, back then we had what, 5, 6 channels tops,
right?
And that, and 3 if you didn't have cable. Max Headroom, he was in there. Yeah, it was. Yeah, nowadays we've got 30 million channels with nothing to watch.
And and I hate to say it like that, but you're absolutely right. And and you're absolutely right. And it's unfortunate because when we were kids watching that stuff, it really wasn't anything that I thought was over the top, really stupid or whatever. But
right.
I just remember watching it, and you could get up and turn it on, and chances are there was a song that you liked on it.
Yeah,
that's just the way it was, And it's funny because I'll come home from work. I will come home from work, and Mud Lover loves music. That's her escape. That's what she does, and she's pretty much in the old school. She loves old school. That's it. And it's so funny because she used to come home, and I would watch her car pull up in the driveway, and all you'd hear was just music, and she's just chilling. All the windows are rolled up, and she's going for it. And it's just the way it was. If she's traveling, and I happen to call her, and she doesn't answer my, because she'll usually answer first or second. I know if she ignores my call, then guess what?
There's a song one of her songs is on. Oh yeah. Looking back, do you remember the first movie you seen in the theater?
Drive-in or walk-in?
Oh, very good. Oh, very good. I would have to say walk-in. Drive-in, I didn't have a car or anything like that. I was younger when I went into the theater. The
first movie we ever saw at the drive-in. Now remember, 20 million households. Wow. I wonder how many people that was.
Now we only turn the TV on for our dog. Pretty much, yeah.
Mud Lover's daughter does the same thing. Oh, there you go. You think she saw E.T. So we went to the drive-in. Now, remember the drive-in that used to hang the speaker on? And
yeah.
At intermission, you would go to the bathroom. You'd walk back over to the snack shack, and I had to wear my damn pajamas. And every kid did. Next Monday at school, say, "Hey, I saw you in your cowboy pajamas,
in your jammy jams."
Yeah. The only time, so when me and Mud Lover are cruising around, and I know there's a couple songs that she just cannot hold back. She has to do the Mud Lover dance. and it's a specific dance
you're
that
gonna you're
Mudlover
gonna have
does.
you're gonna have to give an example, man. You're gonna have to.
I don't. I can't. Because it's so good. It's. I can't do it. I can't do it. But I do know there's a couple things. It's. I can't even do it.
You're
I've
even
tried.
blushing, bro.
I've tried. And there's afraid to catch a friggin' chunklet to the head. But really, Romeo and Juliet. So
Mine was my first movie was Rocky. Me
oh really?
and my older brothers, we had some guy buy us tickets because we were young, and it was a rated R movie. And yeah, and in the Delano
That's
Theater
funny.
way back when.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And Mudlover's first movie was E.T. So my first movie was. Understand this was a long time ago. My folks went, and I didn't even know. It was Kitty Kitty Bang Bang.
Whoa.
Now you probably don't even know what
I
that is.
know who that is. I'm married to Sherry Tovar. She's played every movie, every genre. Wizard of Oz. Oh, that would have been amazing to have the first movie. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why did you bring up Wizard of Oz, Mudlover? Why'd you throw that out there?
I mean, was that? She's trying to say that was your first movie, brother. That was the first color movie.
That's my favorite movie in the entire world.
Mine too.
Wizard of Oz. I love that movie.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I in fact, when we were kids, it would come on a couple, maybe once or twice a year. We would pop corn and watch it. That's how. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said age.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Mudlover.
Yeah. Do you remember? Even the Christmas shows would come on once a year. I remember waiting to see Santa Came to Town, Frosty the Snowman.
Oh,
I mean, those were big deals when we were kids. Those were like we were waiting to watch them.
Oh man, when you would see, was it Frosty the Snowman that would ride the Norelco shaver?
Yeah.
Was it Frosty? Yeah,
I believe it was.
My first concert.
Oh,
holy cow! My first concert was my buddy had got some tickets, and I think my first concert was Kiss Destroyer.
Kiss
Destroyer. Yeah.
Oh wow. That would be awesome.
This was why. Yeah, you're right. And what's funny is it's too bad. And so, like I said, oh, Tiara, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, that's the genre that Mudlover loves.
Oh,
yeah.
I Do Love You, and yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't
tell
you.
No, yeah. I do love you.
I know. I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
But if we're driving down the road and I go to park and there's a song on and Mudlover's already done the Mudlover, and if she's singing along with it, if she's singing along and I turn that car off,
oh, you're in trouble.
No.
Oh yeah, you're in trouble. No. You can't do that. You're messing up. You're messing up the concert.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that if Mudlover's singing, and it's so much fun. It's traveling with her is just incredible.
Just the last couple of days, we've been listening to the greatest hits, Sherry Tovar, anytime we get in the car. And it is every single genre, every single year. We're going from this year to 100 years back to 50 years back, from country to rock to Spanish. she is just a connoisseur of every type of music. Anytime we go on a cruise and they have one of those game shows where music is involved, we already know. I already know we're walking out with that trophy, or at least two of them, and I'll sit there with a puzzled look on my face because I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You were just out there for eye candy.
yeah,
That's
it. Yeah.
And, yeah, because it's the same way with Mud Lover. She friggin' it's
Conway
a little bit of 80s. Oh my God, Conway and Loretta. That's Miss Loretta. And those
Loretta
two,
Lynn.
that is country. That's like country elegance right there.
Fist City.
Loretta Lynn.
To Fist City.
That was good stuff. The Possum. Oh my gosh, yeah, heck yeah. But yeah, I'll tell you, if it's like 50s, all of the 60s of old school, and a little bit of the 70s and some of the 80s, that's where she's got an iPod around here somewhere. It's got to have 9 million old school songs on there.
Yeah,
and that's just, she just loves music, and that's what she appreciates. She appreciates music, and I wish I could, but she just cracks me up.
Music is a good way to get teleported back to the good times.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we have vinyl. Or I take that back. One of us has vinyl. One of us has 45s.
Oh,
and I just like, oh my gosh. And
you know what though?
I used to, yeah.
There is nothing like listening to a 45. Period.
Oh,
I mean, even with the little static in it, it's all good. All good. That is, that takes me way back. Do you remember the old record players when you used to stack all the 45s at the parties so that they could drop and play the next one?
Yeah. I'm sure that Mud Lover had one of those things. I had 145, and it was because, like I said, I listened to the radio. George Jones, there you go, exactly the pop. But I had 145 that was mine, and it was Snoopy and the Red Baron by I can't even remember who.
I remember.
And that was the
wait.
45 that I had.
Do you remember getting the records on the back of a cereal box where you pop it off and you can put it on and play it?
Now, Mud Lover will say, and I'm waiting for her to come into comments for that comment, so I will let her listen. I will let her answer that. There was, oh my gosh, what was it? The Ballad of the... Yeah, Mud Lover's the same way. The Ballad of the Green Berets.
Oh, yeah.
Came in some magazine. Yeah,
she still has them.
Oh, yeah, she does. She does.
That's
and
awesome.
If it was cutting off the back, that's just that she's got them. And I used to think, why? But you know what? Nah, it makes her happy. Now I will poke the bear a little bit and say something like, "We need to get rid of this stuff," and then, I know I'm just playing. We ought to bring all of Mud Lover's stuff to your house and just crank it up. He still has a VCR.
Next week, if you come out with a black eye, we're gonna know why. Wait, do you remember Mad Magazine?
Are you kidding me? So remember on the back where it'd be a picture and then you could fold it up?
Oh yeah.
So the guy that drew Alfred E. Newman used to come into my mom's bakery every day.
No way.
There you go. Thank you, Sherry. And this was probably, 90s. And he would draw on the wall. And I go, Mom, yep, the Green Berets.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the Green Berets.
that staff sergeant, I can't remember what his name was, but yeah. Uh, but anyway, he would bring it. He would bring a marker and he would draw on the wall, all over the walls. And
Really?
I'm like, God, who is that guy? And she's like, Oh, that's so and so. I have no idea who that is. He was the guy that drew Alfred E. Newman,
Oh
and it
wow.
was so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. And there was another. Was it Cracked?
Correct.
Cracked
It wasn't
magazine?
as famous back then, but it was good. It was
Yeah,
good.
it wasn't
Still,
as
there
big
was
yet.
nothing like Mad Magazine.
No, definite,
I've seen one.
definitely, and
I've
that was
seen
the
one
best.
for sale recently. They're looking 17 to 35 bucks each.
Mhm.
Each. Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
touch our
no, I don't.
stuff.
No, no, ma'am. I know better.
Yeah, I used
I
to
was at
mention that a lot.
the
Not anymore.
I was at the store the other day, and I happened to go down that aisle, and they're not even the same Mad magazines.
Oh
And
no,
I'm
no, no,
looking,
no.
it's like, oh my gosh, no, no,
Yeah.
just ridiculous. And I
Good.
just, yeah. But you know what? And like I said, it was a whole different time and a whole different the '80s, the '70s, the last part of the '70s and the '80s. That was the
Good
best
deal.
time in the world. You
I
know, and
think
some
you're
people
right.
say the '90s, but you know, in the '80s, they friggin' had big hair. We're talking hairspray bands.
Oh
We're
yeah.
talking big hair bands. We're talking, oh my, it was the best. And something that Mud Lover has in storage is a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Oh
I think she
yeah.
has a
Cabbage
couple of them.
Patch Dolls. Yeah.
Yeah. And as
Those
I'm looking
were.
through this stuff,
Yeah.
she's
I
got all this
remember.
stuff.
Yeah. Those were wildly popular. My little sister got one from my brother, but yeah, I remember there was lines at the store just to buy them at Toys R Us, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is people would go out there. Not, I don't think it was Cabbage Patch Kids. It was all the Beanie Babies.
There you go.
And Mud Lover, correct me if I'm wrong, but thank you, Sherry. Um,
Sergeant
Stats
Barry.
aren't very
Yeah.
solid. Um, but people bought Beanie Babies, and I know this is a little newer, '90s ish, but they bought so many people. They got so many of those Beanie Babies. These people actually thought that would be their retirement.
Really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
people would actually buy all these Beanie Babies up, you know, and you're buying Beanie Babies with the rent money, right? Thinking it's an investment, and Beanie Babies just fell right on their face. But as I'm
Wow.
looking through this stuff, it's like Mud Lover's got a Rubik's Cube, Mud Lover's got Cabbage Patch Kids, Mud Lover's got a Teddy
Wow.
Ruxpin, Trivial Pursuit Simon. Um,
Have you
no,
seen
which
that
documentary
documentary?
showing? But yeah, Garbage Pail Kids, all that
Those were,
stuff.
yeah, those are good. I
Yeah,
love the Garbage Pail Kids. That was more my
that was
style.
good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, and it was a whole different because in the '50s and the '60s, you thought, did she really, Susie? That's
Oh
awesome. You need to get together with Mud Lover and tell some of those stories. Um,
yeah.
but it was funny because the '50s, you know, they were greasers, right? You know, Happy Days ish.
Yeah.
The '60s, you know, it was kind of a weird era. The '70s
Those
was
were the
like
hippies.
the dope and the hippies,
Yeah.
exactly. But the '80s, man, they had everything of their own. They stirrup pants. They had the friggin' which I never had.
The
What
parachute
one was
pants.
that? Oh God,
Parachute pants. You got to
there
remember
you
the
go.
parachute pants.
Yeah, buddy,
Oh, yeah.
that was good stuff. Oh, and she's got an Alf doll and a Merlin. Oh yeah, and you know what's funny is she can go right get these. Yes, she Mud Lover has all that stuff.
The
Yeah, and
Alf
it's funny,
doll.
especially with Mud Lover, and I've learned to do this myself. Um, but she has a lot of the original packaging.
Oh, wow.
Mud Lover stuff is in a lot of my stuff. you tore the box up, and we're playing with whatever it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, that was me.
it
There's
was the
no way
best.
it's gonna be in a package.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah, I'm
hilarious.
gonna play with it. It doesn't make a difference. Like I said, all my Matchbox and all my Hot Wheels cars that I have, um, I don't play with them because, well, number one, they're really hard to get to, but
Uh,
yeah, they're put away. But I'm at a point now where it's like they're a collectible, and if I don't play with them, that's okay. I have guys that I can give them to. So, but yeah, um, but it's just funny how the generational stuff worked out. Slap bracelets, you
oh, do you
know,
remember those?
yeah.
Whack.
Well, again, you got those from friends, and I didn't have any friends. Um, but the watch, the Swatch watch,
I
and then you
remember
bought the
those.
little, yeah, then you bought the little
Oh yeah,
plastic thing. So yeah, that was good. It's jelly shoes,
the
you
jelly
know.
shoes. Yeah, I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
those. I
those were
remember
back in the
having
day.
a summer job in eighth grade, and before going to school, I bought me my school clothes, and it was a pair of parachute pants that looked like MC Hammers with red netting all along the side that you can see all the way up, and
That's
with zippers all over them, and a Michael Jackson coat with a bunch of zippers. Man, if I were to see my kid getting dressed for school like that today, I don't know if they'd make it out the door. But I sure did. Thought I looked cool as
no,
hell.
yeah, that was heck yeah. Well, somewhere if we look hard enough, Mud Lover has a members only jacket.
Oh, I remember those.
Oh my, yeah, yeah. She was, yeah. Back in the day,
She must have been
and
in the
she
in
was like,
crowd.
yeah. Well, no, she was. Mud Lover did her own thing, much the way she does now. Mud Lover is just an older version of when she was growing up now, and
That's
she
awesome.
hasn't changed. If it was up to her, she'd be in a Patagonia or a Senor Lopez, 501s, and Vans tennis shoes. And that's how she lived her life. And she danced to her own drum. Yes, ma'am, you do. And you still do.
Yeah.
You still do. And that's the dance. The dance is awesome.
But that's what
Uh,
makes us unique.
but yeah, it's just the way it was, And I guess if we Aquanet, there
Aquanet.
you go. Oh
Oh
yeah, and you
Lord.
knew that smell.
Oh
You
yeah.
knew that. So my mom used to smoke, like I said, and
Oh
she was
yeah.
in the bathroom smoking and putting Aqua in it, and I heard this scream. Yeah, there it was. Sorry, Pendleton 501s and Vans. I thought that's.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
maybe not the
Have
same
you
girl,
seen
but
the cost of Pendletons now? It is
ridiculous.
insane. It is insane. I
Oh
can't
my
afford it.
god!
Yeah.
No, heck no. And I'm sure if we look close, Mother, I know she's got some 501s, and I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah.
sure she's probably got a Pendleton or two. Um, and she wears Vans just because she likes wearing Vans. Yeah. Um, but
Good
yeah, my
stuff.
mom, my mom was smoking in the back bathroom, and I heard this scream. And she had been taking a drag off her cigarette, and she put some Aquanet on,
Oh
and it
Lord.
flushed in front of her. Thank God her hair did not. But oh my, it was the best. It
Oh
was,
wow.
yeah. Now, and Aqua Net was good stuff too.
Paul Balls. Paul Ball, no filters. Ugh.
That was my
Yeah,
brother.
those
My
hurt.
brother that went to Vietnam. That's what he smoked his whole
Oh wow.
smoking career
Wow.
was Paul Mongs.
No, yeah, the no
Yeah,
filters. Those used to hurt
yeah.
your lungs, or at least they did mine.
Why?
My 8-year-old lungs.
That's those 7-year-old lungs.
Yeah.
That's good stuff,
Oh
man.
man.
And like I said, I think every if you talk to somebody that grew up in the 70s, they have things that they talked about, and
Yeah.
or that made them happy, or the 60s. It was, but I think once we got into the 70s, that's where the separation of a lot of stuff started going. You know what I mean? We weren't as yeah. It just is. There's just that separation where people were like, yeah, we're gonna go do this now. We're gonna go do our own thing.
It's kind of like the 90s from the 80s. There's that separation, that gap almost. Still kind of the
Exactly.
same, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Man, this hour has flown by.
And it's funny is if you were to talk to somebody now about Jazzercise or what was the other one? Jane Fonda workout video.
Richard Simmons
Right.
videos. Come on now, let's not go too far.
These people would not have a clue what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just like I said, it was just a different time. And I think that sweat to the oldies. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know what? We were fortunate.
I think it was just one of those things.
Yeah, we were fortunate to be born in that era. The era before computers and still young enough to learn them.
Exactly. And that is a great definition. That is a great definition. Yeah, and it was, I remember I had a Casio watch that had a calculator on it.
Oh yeah.
And that was like the hip ticket. It was just, and now it's like no big deal. But
those were it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you didn't have the parachute pants, you better have the acid wash jeans.
Absolutely.
Because you were pimping.
Big pimping.
The 20-minute workout. Yeah. And then I remember, like I said, leg warmers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Leg warmers. I'm sure Mud Lover has a pair of leg warmers somewhere.
Leg warmers, and then the wristbands and the headband.
Oh, heck yeah. And everything was bright colors.
The neon clothes.
Everything was friggin' bright colors, man. Oh, my gosh.
And
it was nothing to see somebody wearing like a pink pair of shorts, and it was, oh my gosh, yeah, good stuff. That was the best.
Absolutely.
And home computer, friggin' computer. I remember my cousin, and this is the 70s. My cousin worked for the FBI, and he was a county deputy in Sacramento, and he was a dope cop. So anyway. I remember walking into his office and him showing us the computer building.
Wow.
And it was the biggest, hugest building that they had. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jeff. And now there's a computer right here.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
The way it is. Or here's the computer right here.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Something that took the whole building to feel. Yeah. Yeah, it was different.
Well, you know what, buddy? We're at that
our hour has flown by. It has been an amazing hour. It was great reminiscing and bringing it up, boy.
Definitely.
What I'd like to talk about next week is I wonder if the kids of today, what stories they would have in comparison to ours.
You know what? That's an interesting story. That's interesting because you wrote Stop the Insanity, the chick with the shaved head and the blonde hair chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't have to be forced to go outside and ride bikes or play outside.
Exactly.
Exactly. I feel bad for them.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a story for the next week.
What are you thinking?
We have the rest of the week to fulfill, and be good to each other. Be good to your loved ones. Change happens with us.
We're trying to be good humans. You're the only one you have. We
Amen.
appreciate you coming by. Like and subscribe. Let us know
Thank
what you
you for-
like about us.
Oh yeah, thank you for all the comments. Makes it fun.
Absolutely. So thanks again. All right, Jess. I think we're good. Thanks again, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.